What's going on, good people? Rich here.
It's your girl, Ray P. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Culture Garden podcast. He already introduced himself, but I just want to shout out my amazing co host, friend, confidant, road dog, Kyron, aka K Rich.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
It's good Thursday for us, but whatever day you're listening to it, morning, evening, or afternoon. What's going on, Rich?
I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to my amazing, incredible, beautiful, intelligent, transcendent,
Ooh.
co-host. Yeah, transcendent, man. Ain't nobody like you. You know what I'm saying? You don't meet too many people like Ray P in your lifetime, if ever. So,
God bless
I'm
you.
always grateful to be in the presence. Always a pleasure to be here, just having fun, talking movies.
For
You know,
sure.
shooting the shit on this Thursday, like you said.
For
If
sure.
you've noticed, your man's he's out of Mama Goody's studio. You see the
Yeah.
background a little bit different. I'm actually I have an office that I'm still getting together that I'll be recording from. But right now I'm in the living room, still getting things set up here in Cleveland.
Hey.
Um, I know, right? Thank you for everyone bearing with me. I made a post on our Culture Garden page, just a story just about, I haven't been updating with much, whether it's episodes or even just news or what's going on. So thank you for that, man. Moving is not for the faint of heart,
It is not.
especially when you're moving cities
Yeah.
and getting everything together and trying to figure everything out. So thank y'all for that. Thanks for rolling with me. Rachel, same to you.
For sure.
Speaking of Rachel, we got y'all. That whole moving fiasco, it wasn't a fiasco, just the process. Everything actually went very smoothly. So
Yeah.
I'm blessed for that. I'm thankful for that. Things went well. It was just a lot of work. So we do have an episode that we got y'all that I'm going to go ahead and just say we'll drop it on Monday.
Okay.
Because it's Thursday right now. You'll be listening to this on Friday or over the weekend. And then Monday, we'll go ahead and drop that We Got Y'all episode. Please make sure you follow the We Got Y'all Instagram page.
Yes.
It's in the episode description. And please follow our link tree so you can have access to We Got Y'all, Culture Garden, YouTube, everything else. So we definitely appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in with us once again. We're at episode 90, Rachel.
Crazy.
It's moving, ain't it? Episode 90. This is yeah. I can't believe how we're moving. But we're having fun the whole process. So before we get started, there will be spoilers and explicit content. In today's film, we're discussing Hustle, not to be confused with Hustlers, starring J-Lo, which Ray P had to clarify. Like, hold on, which one are we talking about?
Very much so. I thought the shit was
Uh,
cool.
Did you watch Hustlers?
I did.
Hustlers is one of those random. I had nothing else to watch. I was like, you know what? Let me check this out. I haven't watched it since. I only watched it one time, but I remember it being like, okay, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Wasn't it based off a true story? Semi-true story?
True-ish.
True-ish?
It might have been like semi-autobiographical.
Yeah, man.
Don't give me the lion.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All I know is shout out to Legends in Detroit. Shout out to all the hardworking women in that establishment getting their money. All the hustlers, as one might say, in there. That was my last visit to a gentleman's establishment. So shout out to hustlers. You said what?
You were just in Detroit. You went.
Yeah, just in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Just in Detroit. We ain't even about to talk about. We ain't even gonna talk about how much money was spent. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But Hustle is what we're discussing today.
Yeah.
The synopsis: a basketball scout discovers a phenomenal street ball player while in Spain and sees the prospect as his opportunity to get back into the NBA. This was my week to pick. I don't want to say it was an Adam Sandler thing, but for some reason, Hustle and Uncut Gems. Shout out to Ray P. Hustle and Uncut Gems were the first films that came to mind as far as what I wanted to talk about. Just kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Uncut Gems in the theater. I remember it being chaotic. I almost picked it because I know how much Ray P loves some Kevin Garnett.
Real bad.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett is that's if you want to know Ray P's type from a personality perspective, Go check out KG and the way he carries himself and the way he talks about things, man. That's it. Definitely.
I
Little
love
insight on Rachel. Little insight on Rachel, man. That's my dog. Um, KG was one of my favorite players playing.
me too.
KG, Rondo, Westbrook. I like players with that energy and attitude that are kind of I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
it's me and mine versus everybody, and I don't have any problem saying it.
For sure.
Um, it's just a certain energy that some people carry, and KG a dog. But
Solid.
another player in this movie is like probably my current favorite player. We'll get to him. He has that same type of energy. Plays for
Yes.
the same team KG was on. Big
Yes.
fan of him, but we'll get there. But why this movie? For one, NBA playoffs are going on. I figured it would be good to just talk to basketball. We
Mhm.
don't do it. We haven't done a ton of sports movies. I think the last sports movie we did was Rachel's pick, which was Draft Day.
Yep. Oh, draft
And that
day.
was and that was about a year ago. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think we've done a sports movie since. I mentioned Anthony Edwards, or I didn't say his name, but Anthony Edwards was a big reason. He's currently killing it
For
right now
sure.
in the playoffs. Looking like shades of MJ, dominating right now. They're up 2-0. I don't think they play until tomorrow. So if you listen to this Friday morning, they're up 2-0 on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
One of my favorite athletes, period. Like I said, just the way he carries it, just that dog mentality. Here's my favorite thing about Anthony Edwards. I don't even know if that man has even heard of respectability politics. My dog is himself all the time. Don't
Yeah.
matter who's in front of him. It doesn't matter. He's going to be Anthony Edwards, and I respect that so much. Only 22 years old. And also, my last reason was it's just an easy movie to watch.
For sure.
It's not too much to. It's a good story, not a ton to digest, not too much overthinking. It
Mhm.
doesn't try to do too much, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
There's a relatable charm that I think Adam Sandler's character of Stanley carries.
Mhm.
You root for him. It's a very clear line of who you're pulling for and who you're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be that deep. It can just be a simple, clean movie for 2 hours. Um, and I just felt it was a good time to talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
as far as the stats go, this was released in select theaters. So, probably just LA
Oh,
and New York. Yeah, it was, June 3rd, 2022. And then it
mhm.
went to Netflix on June 8th, 2022. Directed by Jeremiah Zagar. Apologies if I mispronounced that. He directed a lot of shorts and some TV, a few films, but this is his most notable film. He grew up in South Philly, which I thought was very evident after
Mhm.
watching this film. There's a lot of Philadelphia. We talk about cities being a character
For
in these
sure.
films, and you can tell he grew up here. There were certain parks and certain areas that, dare I say, you probably hadn't seen too much on film. I think Creed does a good job of showing certain parts of Philly,
Mhm.
but this one did a really good job of showing those intricacies and those ins and outs.
Yeah.
Written by Taylor Matern and Will Fetters, produced by the Spring Hill Company, which is LeBron James' production company. So
Mhm.
he's one of the producers on here. They had a budget of approximately $21 million. Of course, this is Netflix, so there's no box office numbers. But according to them, it was the most watched Netflix film from June 8th to June 19th when it released.
Okay.
They do it by hours. I think it had like 87 million hours, and then the next week it was like 57 million. So definitely did his thing. And like I said, it's currently streaming on Netflix.
Mhm.
As far as awards go, 9 nominations and 1 win. That win was for People's Choice Award, the comedy movie star of 2022, Adam Sandler. This isn't really a comedy, so I thought that was a
That's
little
what I was gonna
odd.
say. I'm like, would you consider this a comedy?
Nah, funny moments, but that all dramas have funny moments. I consider this a sports drama.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's a comedy, but in that same vein, Queen Latifah was also nominated for Comedy Movie Star of 2022, as well as Female Star of 2022. So that must just be a People's Choice thing.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to highlight Adam Sandler was also nominated for the first time for a SAG Award for Best Performance or Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Leading Role, Screen Actors Guild. So that was a big deal. I think he really did a good job. I'm surprised that this was his first nomination
Mhm.
over Uncut Gems because of what he did in that film. But
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, that's the last time I'm referencing that movie. As As far as the cast goes, we have Adam Sandler as Stanley Sugarman, Dana, Queen Latifah, Teresa Sugarman,
Yeah.
Juancho Hernan Gomez as Bo Cruz. What's up with these sports films and Bo? I mentioned Draft Day, Bo Callahan,
Uh-huh.
Bo Cruz. I don't know what's up with that.
It's a common name.
I guess so. I guess so. Ben Foster is Vince Merrick, which let me just say, incredible job of just not liking this person, just making him dislikable.
Yeah.
Like Ben Foster. And if you really don't want to like him, go watch Emancipation on Apple with Will Smith. If you're in the right headspace for that, that's a doozy right there.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, just a great job of making you not like him. We have Kenny Smith as Leon, which I thought Kenny did a really good job.
The Jet Smith did a great job.
Kenny the Jet. Look at Rachel showing us that she's watching her TNT. You know what college Kenny played at, right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Tar Heel. You already know. Tar Heel legend.
For sure. I watched his reality show.
He has a reality show?
I think it had like one season.
I think his daughter's a singer, isn't she?
Sure.
I guess that was in season. That was in season 2 that they didn't get to. We have Anthony Edwards as Kermit Wilkes. I mentioned Anthony, dog, one of my favorites. Not a bad job either from an acting perspective. I think he was just naturally himself. Robert Duvall as Rex Merrick.
Yeah.
Jordan Hole as Alex Sugarman. We have Jaleel White as Blake. Shout out to Jaleel. You said what?
He just got married.
Did he?
Uh-huh.
Shout out to him. I just like seeing a familiar face in a random role.
Yeah.
On a Netflix movie. So shout out to him. Also, a ton of appearances by basketball players all over, not just NBA stars or former stars, street ball legends.
Yeah.
If you're the same age as us and you grew up in that N1 mixtape era, absolutely. I mean, dominated the streets. There's too many to name, so I won't go through all of them. Shout out to Dr. J, a Philly legend, who actually had a role in Will. Allen Iverson, another Philly legend. I do want to shout them out, based on the city. But a lot of players in this film, and that was really cool to see. And lastly, I got to shout out. They made 2 quick cameos. I got to shout out to Freeway and Beans, because you couldn't tell me I wasn't a member of Rockefeller growing up.
Come on.
So it's only right that we in Philly, we see Beans with a quick little reaction shot. We see Freeway, but the only thing we were missing, Rachel, is your girl, the blonde bombshell.
The blonde bombshell, the illest vicious pit bull in a skirt, making him hurt.
I can't.
That is too funny.
I can't remember what film we were discussing, but you quoted it was on DMX song. Used to be my dog. He was in my left titty, screaming "Ride or Die." Yeah, and I was like, Rachel, Rachel was like, I was a rough rider. Nigga, stop playing with me.
I really was. I was just gonna say, before you got to seeing Beans and Freeway, I was gonna say I was so happy to hear I represent PHILA. Period. Like, you could not tell me anything about Eve, the first lady of Rough Riders. Like, you cannot tell me about that whole Rough Riders run anything, because I felt like I was in the trenches with them.
For real.
I've told you multiple times, my hair is blonde. This not just for Beyonce, but for Eve, because that's how long I've been rocking this shit. Braids to the back, Eve. My little skirts back in my day, Eve. The one.
Listen.
I wanted paw print so bad, but thank God I didn't do that. But
now that's
could you imagine?
Yes. That'd be crazy. I'm laughing right. That's comical right now, just thinking about it. But it's also so I can 100% see you 16-year-old, 17, 18-year-old, you doing that. 100%.
I wanted to so bad.
Paul Prince, man. Eve. And listen, this isn't a hip-hop podcast. We'll get into the film. But back in those days, the late 90s, early 2000s, when hip-hop crews only had the one woman artist or the one rapper that might have an R&B singer, a la Ashanti Murder Inc. But when you get your Eves that come on the scene, and the Rough Rider moving, like Rachel just said. I remember I mentioned Goody already. Shout out to my dog Good.
That's good.
I remember me and him went to Northgate Mall in 1999. We were 12 years old. We had some cash on us. We went to FYE. He bought that Rough Riders Volume 1. We went back to his crib and played it. And I just remember, like, yo, what is this? I remember hearing Down Bottom for the first time. Like, come
I
on,
have
man.
Down Bottom on the playlist right now.
Come on, man. Like, come on. That whole Rough Riders era is too much. I told you I'm Rockefeller, but Rough Riders came through like a hurricane. And DMX, we already talked about him. Me and Rachel's one of our favorite songs. How's it going down? Always, man. But yeah, shout out to the Rough Riders. Shout out to Philly.
Shout out to Philly.
So, Rachel, I got to ask you.
Yes.
Kind of an unfair question, or it might be you might know your answer very clearly. Classic or not?
No, but very good movie.
I agree.
So I'll let you guys in. In our pre-production meeting, I let Rich know I didn't have a whole lot to say, but ironically enough, I do remember my first time seeing this movie and I enjoyed it very much. In every rewatch, I've enjoyed the movie. It's not super quotable to me. I enjoyed the scenes. The runtime says 2 hours, but it's really like an hour 40.
Yeah.
45 minutes. It's not a long watch. It's not drawn out. I wasn't ready for it to end, but I just noticed that nothing was grabbing me to like, oh, let me write that shit down real quick. You know what I'm saying? But it's an enjoyable movie. I can put it on. I can watch it a fourth time, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this shit is cool. It was good background noise. It's a good movie.
You know what this film, the comparison I'll make to it, and what you just said ties into when I mentioned why I picked it. Just a good, clean, easy watch.
Yeah.
If I made a comparison, this is like trying a new restaurant and just getting a burger.
Yes.
It's hard to fuck up a burger. Like at the very least, I know that I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm not getting what they known for, maybe. I'm not getting the steak, or I might not get whatever, like I said, people come here for.
Yeah.
But I know I can get the burger and be cool.
For sure.
I think this movie's kind of the same. It's not gonna blow you away per se, but you're still gonna enjoy it. And next time you in that city or in that area, I'm gonna go back. Oh shit, I'm gonna try that burger again.
For sure.
I think that's a perfect comparison. It's not sexy. It's not over the top, but it does leave you satisfied.
Yeah.
Very easy to watch. Very easy to watch. So I agree with you. It's not a classic. I personally have a rule. I don't like putting things into that conversation at least 5 years after it's been released. However, I don't know what's going to change between now and 2027. That's going to make me say, "Oh, this is a classic."
Yeah,
it's okay just being a good, clean movie.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I love a random sports movie. I love it. I love a triumph, a story of overcoming.
Let me ask you this, since you said that, because this is something I read when I was looking up reviews in 2022. People were saying this was Adam Sandler's Jerry Maguire. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Is that off base?
I think I guess this is a serious role. I think it's more so that it's just not him being a dope or like a I don't want to call him a jester, but it's not him doing his regular comedy stick, or a goof. So we see him as a matured older man on the grind. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily know if I would compare it to Jerry Maguire for what that did for Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. But it is, dare I say, a favorite role or a top Adam Sandler role in film overall for me. Especially, y'all know I don't do a lot of the goofy shit, but
right. Right. And we're gonna get into that here in a second.
I would say Big Daddy as his Jerry Maguire.
I think so. That's a good. I like that. I personally, there's too much sports in this film to kind of. I think till this day, Jerry Maguire came out what 96.
Sure.
Until this day, people are still having conversations of is this a sports movie? Is it a romance movie? Like it's hard to put it in a genre. It's got a perfect mixture of everything. This is clearly a sports movie. I said earlier it's a sports drama. Um, the Big Daddy thing is, and that's interesting. And that kind of leads into what I want to talk about in the next here in a second. But um, you mentioned something about you didn't have anything that jumped out to you as
Mhm.
far as writing notes. Do you? And this is just a kind of off side, a B side conversation. I find myself doing that sometimes too. How often do you feel like you're writing stuff for the sake of writing it, and then go back like I don't need to talk about that shit? Does that happen to you a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to catch myself and say like, do I really have anything to say about this, or am I just
Mhm.
writing it down because of whatever?
Just so we could have something to say. But
Yeah,
really, I
yeah, yeah.
run my mouth. Yeah,
Yeah, we can. I always feel, and I'll say this proudly. I always feel Rachel and myself can have a conversation about anything.
for sure.
We've had conversations when we got y'all with absolutely zero notes,
Yeah.
and I'm
Both
talking
of
about neither one of us. I'm talking 50-minute television episode, no
Yeah.
notes. We just going off of memory and conversation.
Yeah.
So this episode might feel a little bit like that, even though we will talk about scenes. I have some stuff written down because of the sports fan in me, and just kind of this time of year. April, May is always a great time for sports.
Mhm.
NFL draft. You had the Masters last month. You have baseball going on for those who watch NBA playoffs, all types of stuff. But as far as the origin goes, there's nothing really sexy about it. It was
Yeah,
just, Adam Sandler has a Netflix deal. They gave that man a lot of money.
of
And
course.
Adam Sandler, for those who don't know, he is a big basketball fan.
Mhm.
You can go on Twitter or go on YouTube and just Google Adam Sandler basketball, and he will pull up to your local park in his goofy outfits. Shout out to Adam for being him and dressing like himself.
Yeah.
But he pull up in them big 3X shorts and them polo shirts. He'll go out there and hoop, and he ain't bad. Like he's not gonna wow you, but he's
Yeah.
not bad. So it's always good to see that. So I'm sure this spawned from his love of basketball and wanting to write this story. He handpicked the director because he saw his last film and thought it would be perfect for it. Because shooting sports movies, I think, is an art. I
Mhm.
love I love the cinematography and how the sports scenes particularly were filmed.
Yeah.
Even small moments, like there's a moment at the combine where they're doing the measurement drills, and I'm surprised you ain't jump at that. But they're doing the measurement drills and they're doing like the 20-yard shuffle or 20-yard sprint, and
Mhm.
the camera flips upside down while Bo takes off. And I just think those clever, creative ways to look at filmmaking were pretty dope. And
Mhm.
it's rare that you get an actor who's been in the business since what was his name on Cosby Show? Um,
Lost it, and I was gonna make a reference to
I think
him
it
in
starts with I
a
think it starts with a W. Either way, I'll find that here in a second. But it's rare to have somebody as accomplished and who's been around as much as Adam with a rookie director and
Mhm.
having the success that they had. I thought that was just really incredible as far as them getting this done. Like I said, they started in 2020 as far as the filming. Adam Sandler was set to star. Everybody else piled in as the year went on, Queen Latifah. And then here we are. We have the film. Now, one thing I do think that's interesting, this is kind of I'll say out of bounds for what we normally talk about here, and I'll just make a brief mention. So Netflix does not do business with China, and the original script had Stanley Sugarman finding a guy while he was in China, and Netflix strongly persuaded them. You said what?
like a Yao Ming situation.
Like a Yao Ming situation.
Okay.
So they strongly persuaded them to change it, and that's how we got the Spain and Bo Cruz angle and everything like that. So just an interesting nugget or note about it. Smitty, he played Smitty on Cosby Show.
Smitty. Got it.
Yeah.
He
So
had
yeah, that's really. You said what?
he had cancer.
That's right. Yeah, he had a 4-episode run, four
Mm,
episode run on Cosby Show.
yeah.
Shout
And
out to
he
the
played
Cosby Show,
basketball
man.
with
Yes, he
Tito.
did. I know it's for some people, the Cosby Show is a controversial topic.
For
We
sure.
have something planned. This is the 40-year anniversary for the Cosby Show.
Mm,
Here at the Culture Guard, we have something planned, along with
yes.
our good friends at Another Week in the Books, to have a conversation about the Cosby Show, and not just the show itself, but obviously the things that surround it and how people feel about it. Because I won't even go down that hole because we're not here for that. But I'm looking forward to that conversation because there's certain. I won't go there. I won't go there today. All right. First experiences, Rachel. I know you
Yes.
kind of touched on it. Do you remember the first time you watched it? Do you remember
The
what drew you
first
to the film?
the first time I watched it was at my house here on Netflix. I I will pretty much click on anything. Adam Sandler, he's a draw for me. I'll watch. If the trailer doesn't look stupid, I'll watch it. You mentioned Little Nicky earlier. I don't think I've ever seen Little Nicky because it looks stupid. So I didn't see that. And then of course, Queen
Big
Latifah.
stupid.
Of course, I can watch that. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it. I don't think I'd revisited the movie prior to us recording for this, but it was a good first one time watch. I got what I needed. We've
Yeah.
talked about it. It was light, feel good, dare I say, athletic sports movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I, if memory serves me correctly, I think you told me about this.
Probably.
I can't remember if you told me directly or if I was just reading your Twitter and saw it
Mhm.
on the timeline
Yeah.
of you talking about hustling and being good. But I know for sure it came for you
Mhm.
directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
And I've said it a million times. Anytime Rachel says something's good, I'm going to check it out. No questions asked.
Trust
And it was
me.
good. And it was good. I enjoyed it. The same thing you said and what I've explained already, just about it being a good, clean movie and taking a sports film and looking at it from a different perspective.
Mhm.
Because you really have the international star, or unknown, should I say, and you get to follow that journey. But what was most fascinating for me was looking at someone like Stanley Sugarman, who's, yes, I put in my work. I've been in the league for 30 years as far as being a scout,
Scott.
but I still don't have the pool that I think I had.
Mhm.
And there's something about realizing that your time is, whenever you reach that point of, I know for a fact I got more time behind me than I do in front of me.
Yeah.
This might be my last chance to really make a splash and really go for my ultimate dreams or goals.
Mhm.
Because like any other major corporation, there's a lot of politics involved.
For sure.
And we see that even though Robert Duvall's character, I forget his name, I know he was the owner, um, last name Merrick, even though he loved Stanley and brought him in and kind of admired him, he still didn't really give him, he even told him, like, hey, man, I apologize for not making this happen sooner. Like, it
Yeah.
just doesn't work like that. There's always connections. You got head coaches who want to bring in their own people.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So I like that we got to see it from the scout perspective, what that looks like, and that kind of goes into my first scene. But before we get into scenes, I want to talk to you about Adam Sandler's career.
Okay.
Rachel, Adam Sandler has one of the most fascinating careers to me,
Mhm.
like out of anybody. And I was sitting here thinking about it. For one, we're looking at this from the perspective of, we've known Adam Sandler since we've kind of known pop culture. So he's
Mhm.
been in our lives that long. SNL, we talked about the Cosby Show, Coneheads, excuse me, Airheads.
Mhm.
Obviously, he broke it big with Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison.
Mhm.
Those were my first introductions to him, right up my alley. I was the target audience for the slapstick comedy that took place. I watched those movies on VHS countless times, could quote them front to back. Happy Gilmore, just young Kyron, just blurting out random ass lines in that movie. It was just hilarious to me, like one of those goofy ass hilarious movies. So
Mhm.
similar to Dumb and Dumber. Like Dumb and Dumber is one that every time I watch it, I get weak because it's ridiculously stupid
Yeah.
to the point. And did you? were you watching those movies when you were younger? Did you
Wow.
know that? So even then, you were like, "I'm cool."
I caught I think the first time I saw Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore were both on like USA.
Okay, so it wasn't you had no desire, admiration. You weren't like me and running around quoting it. None of
No,
that.
not at all.
That's interesting. So
Not at
I'd
all.
imagine because you
Probably
had Bullet. I was gonna say you had Bulletproof in '96. You had The Wedding Singer in '98. Were you watching The Wedding Singer, or was it Big Daddy for you?
it's Big Daddy for me.
It's Big Daddy.
I
Okay.
don't like any of those movies.
Waterboy, none of them.
I like Waterboy. I like, I guess, Billy Madison more than Happy Gilmore. So I probably got on the Adam Sandler train at Waterboy. Like didn't like Little Nicky. Obviously Big Daddy. Love 51st Dates. Love
Mr. Deeds.
no.
You didn't watch
Um,
Mr. Deeds? Okay.
what's after that? What's the one where they go reunite for camp?
Grown Ups.
Grown Ups. One, not two.
Did you watch? This came out when we were in high school. Did you watch Anger Management
I watched Anger
with,
Management.
with him and Jack Nicholson? Not really a comedy per se, but it was a different type of movie.
I've seen it maybe just that one time.
Okay. So here's why he's fascinating to me. So we just ran through all those movies that came out between 92, 94, whatever, all the way up until 2003.
Yeah.
And then I think 2002, he comes out with Punch Drunk Love,
Mhm.
which was a pivot for him.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing with Adam. It's not that he did comedies. He did slapstick, goofy, silly comedies,
Yeah.
right? Because even Jim Carrey gives you your liar liars.
Mhm.
You know what's going on. Like, nah, Adam was doing some out the wall shit.
Yeah.
And it was so slapstick that people like you, when it took a Big Daddy, which would I guess be his liar liar,
Mhm.
to draw you in, right? He made this pivot and this switch. And of course, he still sprinkled in like his 51st dates, but you
Mhm.
saw him getting more serious roles.
Yes.
And I don't think I've ever seen someone be that goofy, yet be this good in the dramatic sense. Like almost I didn't know he had it in him because you start getting all right. So you have The Longest Yard
Mhm.
and you have Click, which are still comedies, and then he starts doing. Do you remember Rain Over Me with Don Cheadle?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you start getting into these drama roles. And it's
Mhm.
like, yo, regardless of the movie, it's not bad. But he was still kind of like feeding us the small things. He did I Now Pronounce Chuck and Larry. You Don't Mess with the Zohan, which is ridiculously stupid.
Yes.
And then Funny People comes out in 2009.
Which
Did
is
you watch Funny People?
yeah. That's where they're like in a mental house, right? The mental institution or somebody tries to commit suicide.
No, Funny People was like two. Seth Rogen's in it. It's he's a seasoned comedian, but he has a terminal illness.
Oh, he has like okay.
Yeah, and he's taking like Seth Rogen under his wing. It's a weird, and I say weird movie. How do I want to say this? For one, it's too long. For two, it's two different movies. And if you've seen Funny People, you know exactly what I mean. The
Yeah.
first hour is a comedy, and the second hour is like this family romance movie.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of all over the place. It's a good movie. I think Judd Apatow directed it.
Of
But
course.
I think from that point, he started really getting in that bag. And you have Grown Ups, which is more of adult. Um, Jack and Jill, That's My Boy, yada, yada, yada. But for me, when he gets to Uncut Gems, damn it, I did it again. But when he gets to Uncut Gems, I remember just being blown away by what I was watching.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe that he was capable of a performance like that. And then you tackle Hustle on top of it. It's not that his career wows me,
Mhm.
whereas like give him all the awards. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying to go from a film like Little Nicky and to be able to have a performance like
Uncut
Hustle. I was just
Gems.
about to say it, like Uncut Gems in your same resume and just the growth. It just always fascinates me. And I just wanted to kind of give Adam his flowers and talk about that because Yeah. He's been around for a long time, and he kind of broke the stigma of just having those stupid Little Nicky movies. Because
Yeah.
now, if you told me he's in a drama, no hesitation, and it's hard for comedians to do that. Not only for themselves from a talent perspective, but also from the fan perspective. I remember being upset when I saw comedians trying to do dramatic roles. Like I
Really?
want to see, yeah, like as a younger person, not anymore, but as a younger person, that really bothered me. I
Not too
really try to
much.
shoehole people. Yeah, I try to put them in a box.
Crazy. I'll not to cut you, I'll
No,
add
keep going.
Just Go With It to a top Adam Sandler movie, but that's again later in his career with Jennifer Aniston and
Yeah.
Blended when he reunited with what's that crazy girl with the lisp? Um
Um. Drew
Drew
Barrymore.
Barrymore. Yeah.
That was because Drew was in the 51st Dates, right?
Yep, 51st dates, and then they reunited and blended.
Yeah, man. I mean, this man did Jack and Jill, where he played Jack and Jill.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's just dumb. So, like I said, it just amazes me that he can do. I don't want to say can, like I'm putting limitations on him, but just that he had it in him. It kind
Yeah.
of makes you think, like, yo, why did you do this the whole time? But I guess naturally he's a funny person, and I just appreciate, how he carries it. Like
Mhm.
he's not Hollywood per se. He's
Yeah.
not trying to do anything else but make movies, make people laugh, and be with his fam. And he's a naturally funny person. There are
Mhm.
moments in Hustle where he just says things and like has a certain wit to him where you're like, oh, okay, that's still Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
But
For
like I said, he brought that charm. He brought that everyday working man, regular guy. I'm just
Mhm.
trying to make it. I'm just trying to take care of my family. Charm to this film.
For
I think
sure.
that's why it resonates so much. We'll get to Uncut Gems one day because that's a completely different film, completely different character.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of range that goes into that. I'm just walking right into these. My goodness. All right.
Blessed.
And I don't know if I said this already. Hustle is on Rotten Tomatoes. Hustle is Adam Sandler's highest rated film from an audience.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I could see it, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier about the opening scene,
Mhm.
and I like this movie from the perspective that it told. And I thought about you in this opening scene, Rachel. I really did.
You
Like
did.
immediately. Absolutely. Because over the past couple of months, I'd say since March, I don't have to travel a ton for work.
Mhm.
But in March, I really did. It
Yeah.
kicked up. I was Phoenix, Cleveland, back and forth, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
And Rachel, for those who know, there's been times where if you watch the YouTube, she's in a hotel recording these episodes.
Mhm.
And I thought of you because when you think about traveling for work, so I told you I don't travel a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to go to Phoenix? Hell yeah, I'll go to Phoenix. Go ahead and pack your bags and stuff like that. You get in the airport, you get out, you enjoy the city, yada, yada, yada. Once you start doing that on a consistent schedule,
Mhm.
I'm not saying the joy of like just changing environments isn't there, but man, it's not as luxurious and glamorous as you think it would be. Like where people who don't travel for work, when they come up and say, "Oh, that's cool," they fly you out here and do that. Nah, man, I'm tired of eating out. I'm tired of being in these hotels. I'm tired of like just not knowing anyone to where even if I did want to do something, I got to do it solo.
Yeah.
Like it's not as sexy as it appears. And I thought about like that montage of him going from airport. And mind you, he's traveling country to country
Mhm.
by himself, away from his wife, away from his daughter. And I'm like, man, it's just not as luxurious as it seems. And when people think of, I'm gonna let you jump in. But when people think of working in sports,
Mhm.
because there's not too many more jobs that are yearned after than working in professional sports.
Yeah.
But people always think of the big jobs and the fun jobs, not the grunt work, for lack of better terms,
Yeah.
of having to go find this talent, go find the next superstar. If anybody's ever seen Air Up There with Kevin Bacon, I'm
Mhm.
kind of reminiscent of that. I just loved how that scene showed that side of it. Like it's not, yeah, it's a dream job, but it really ain't.
But
It's a
it
lot of
really,
work that goes into it.
yeah, it's exhausting. And I talk to people all the time about turning into sort of a hotel snob. But even quote unquote some of the best, you'll be like, this shit stinks. Like it'll
Yeah.
it'll just be something because it's not home. You know what I'm saying? Like these fucking sheets, okay, they're clean, they stiff as hell, you know?
Hmm.
I can't do it. It's exhausting. If you are watching, I've been home for the last couple weeks, so my travel has slowed down. It will pick back up um soon, but I'm enjoying kind of just sitting back and not having to be in the airport, no flight delays, no crazy rush hour traffic, getting stuck, not knowing anything anywhere, can't find something good to eat, hotel, restaurant closed early, like
All of
it'd
that.
be a lot of bullshit. It'd be a lot of bullshit. And I was gone
All of
for
that, man.
all April. So
All of that. Like
yeah.
straight up. Nigga, I ain't got no weed man out here. Like all types of shit that goes into
Come on,
it.
I can't even sleep.
Uh, but I like I said, I really just love the reality of it. Because
Mhm,
he goes to the NBA player, I forget his name in the film. In the NBA, his name is Boban, in real life, should I say. The big tall 7 footer, 7'4", whatever he is.
mhm,
um, that he goes to see. And my son, that's my son. I'm 22. My son's 10. Like,
mhm.
just go. Imagine doing all that traveling, and then just some bullshit.
Yeah,
Like, what you got me out here for? And then he goes see the guy that everybody's supposed to be talking about, and he sees the. And this is another thing I love about this film and Stanley's character. It's really about the intangibles.
mhm.
It's not really about like can you score, can you defend. It's the small stuff and the small things that he noticed. Like, hey man, his teammates don't even pick him up when he falls.
Mhm.
Like they win when he's not playing. Like all
Yes.
of those things matter.
Reminiscent of another bow, you already talked about it,
Hmm.
bow in draft day. You're not liked, respected, or respected by your team, and that matters. Will you lose the locker room? We talk about that. We hear that in sports media all the time now. Like he lost the locker room, he doesn't have it, but that matters when you choose a player to come be a part of a particular franchise or team.
Absolutely, that's the difference. Those are the small things that separate who we're taking and who we're not taking.
For sure.
To your Bo Callahan draft
Mhm.
day analogy, if you're the quarterback of a star team, if you're the star quarterback of a team, and your teammates aren't coming to your 21st birthday party, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah,
Nobody, you the quarterback. People want to come just to pick up your leftovers.
for sure. For
Just
sure.
to, today's day and age, just to take a picture and post it. Like
Mhm.
just to say I got some clout because I know this person. Like
Yeah.
so if nobody comes, that says a lot. So yeah, absolutely. I love that scene. And we meet the owner. I need to learn his name. It was Rex Merrick. We see the relationship that him and Stanley have, but unfortunately he passes away right after
Ain't that how we
telling
go?
the speech. Yeah. And he passes away, and he has his assistant coaching job. Vince, at least he had enough time to actually get it solidified, and Vince respects it. But then he gets that call in the office, tell him that man, you got to go back on the road.
Crazy.
Like you're indispensable as a scout. Like you're a luxury as an assistant coach, but you're indispensable as a scout. All right, for one, Rachel,
Yeah.
I don't like being summoned anywhere.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
It's the middle of practice. I get it. You're the owner of the team. I'm not sitting here saying I'm gonna say no. I
Mhm.
get it. I'm gonna go to the meeting. Don't get me wrong. I'm in the middle of practice. You calling me, so that's already kind of a respect thing. People in sports talk about hands-off owners,
Yeah.
hiring people that know what they're doing and let them run the team.
Mhm.
Nobody likes somebody meddling in business, especially when you know nothing about it.
Right.
And that's one thing I did love about Stanley's perspective. To quote Kanye, which trust me, that probably will never happen again. But to quote Kanye, I do this more than you. I've been doing this more than you. And that's what I'd have been shouting from the mountaintop if somebody like Vince is in here telling me this, that, and the third. Like, nah, man, like I know what I'm talking about. There's
Mhm.
multiple moments throughout the film that are like that.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, they set Vin up as the perfect dick of a boss. He's texting on his phone, not looking up when he's in. I'm just standing in front of you, like, bro, don't play with me. That would have been the moment. Let me ask you this: put yourself in Stanley's shoes.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be sports; it can be whatever job.
Mhm.
At what point do you quit? Is that the moment when you tell that man you haven't been to your daughter's birthday in 9 years, and he just says we'll send her something nice? Like, is that the moment you like, nah, well, you know what, fuck this, or is it because you're in your 50s and like, you know what, I don't got nothing to fall back on. I'm gonna take it
So I'm not missing 9 of my child's birthdays
to begin with. Yeah,
to begin with. So it probably would have been sooner than that if that's the expectation, because we talked about my travel for work. For the most part, I can kind of control my schedule,
yeah,
even when I'm running around like crazy, that in part is my doing.
yeah.
So the fact that he had such little control over where he is and what he's doing, especially as a scout, he's not the coach at this time. You can't help when games are, but nigga, I don't have to be out here for this shit. I
That
can I can make anything else work. So the fact that they weren't willing to work with him on something as important as his only child's birthday is like I probably would have been gone before that.
you hit the nail on the head, Rachel. There's so many other alternatives. I
Mhm.
do not have to be out here on the road like this.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, hire another scout because all right, scouting departments don't only have just one scout.
Right.
All right, usually somebody helping out, breaking down the film, breaking down your notes, all that kind of good stuff. Why don't you send them out there? Send this 24-year-old out here that wants to do what we just said, that gets old after a while, that wants
Yep.
to go country to country and find these people.
Yep.
Let me teach him what to look for.
That part.
Let me watch the video that he gets and break
Mhm.
it down with him. I can
Yeah.
scout from there. You know what I mean? I'll give a rundown of here. All right, when you meet this person, even down to the handshake. How did he shake your hand? I want to know all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I can teach you that. I don't have to be there for it.
Yeah. Not
Especially
every
when not every game. I can go to maybe the big ones. All right, you got the number one international player in the world. Okay, I get it. Cool. I'll hop on a flight and go over for a few days.
that
But
part.
to miss my daughter's birthday for the 10th year in a row, it would be at this point. And I don't even really have to come over here. Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Crazy.
Um, I love, he goes home and talks to his wife, T. And there's really a reality of a man in his 50s can either work as a scout for an NBA team or quit and start from scratch. And nobody in their 50s is trying to start from scratch. Nobody's trying to, all due respect.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to be a greeter at Walmart. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Nobody's trying to do that. And, there is a ageism that happens
For
in the
sure.
work field where
For
if
sure.
you aren't of a certain ilk, then it's really slow out here for you.
Mhm.
And it goes to what we were just saying, Rachel. Like, it's just hard to kind of put your chest out and say, "No, I'm not doing that." To
Yeah.
deal with those consequences when you have a daughter who's getting ready for college.
Mhm.
It's a little bit difficult. I love a quote that Sugarman said. He said, "Men in their 50s don't have dreams; they have nightmares and eczema." Like, there was only one person capable of what he like. One person that knew what he was capable of. And he died. That's
Yeah.
brutal. That's brutal. I felt for Stanley when he said that. There was only one person in this world that knew what I had in me. And for
Mhm.
anybody out there who like has talent and is being bottled up, and you just looking for that breakthrough, and you find that rabbi, something happens. It's like it's demoralizing.
I that's not necessarily a thing that bothered me, but it's definitely something that made me think. And we kind of touched on it. And again, it reminded me of life where, Claude and Ray are pardoned, but then what's the face dies. And it's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing here. I give you this opportunity, and the difference is, they had kind of just met the warden. Stan had been working for the organization for so long. And I know that Rex said, I don't know why it took this long, but damn, nigga, I'm the only person who believed in me. Even he low key slept on me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's jarring a little bit. Like, damn, can I live?
And I can't speak for anyone else, but me personally, I'm speaking for Kyron Dean Richardson Jr.
Mhm.
Um, there's nothing.
You
One
better
thing
change
that gets under.
your name.
I know, right? Don't Google that. One thing that will just send me through the roof. Don't sleep on me. Like Hove
Mhm.
has this lyric. And you don't know. For playing me, y'all shall forever remain nameless.
Yeah.
Like, don't play like you don't even exist to me no more because you playing to me. You playing with my face, you playing with my skills, like all of that. Like I don't take that lightly because I put any kind of gift that God's blessed me with, I kind of put work into it. I kind of nurture it. And I hate when somebody, especially when they don't even give you a fair shot.
For
I think
sure.
that's what bothered me the most. Like Vince,
Mhm.
because he didn't, bro. I don't know. We can move on, but that was just such a dick move. And when you have shout out to good leadership,
Yeah.
it really makes a difference. When you have a good leader who values family and values like the things that are important in life,
Yeah.
that really makes a difference.
For sure.
We have Sugar
Mhm.
going to see Bo Cruz play at the park. So that first trip to Spain,
Yes.
I love a good divine intervention moment because
Mhm.
if we remember, he was there to see someone else.
Yes.
But there was something, an injury of some sort,
He
and
fell or
yeah,
he
he
landed
fell.
wrong.
It's
Mhm.
exactly goes back to what we just talked about, Rachel. Here I am hopping these flights, country to country.
Mhm.
I get here and I realize, what am I even doing here? The
Yep.
person I'm
It's
came to see is
pleasure.
not even available,
Yeah.
right? So his love of basketball is there at least somewhere I can go and shoot hoops. And you
Mhm.
see this park in Spain that's rocking. The lights are on, nighttime, kind of gives you New York City vibes. When you go to places and cities where they're playing basketball literally from sun up to sundown,
Yeah.
and you see the crowd going crazy in the curiosity on Stanley's
Mhm.
face, like what's going on? And he sees Bo out there, who obviously looks different from everybody else. First of all,
Yeah.
my man's in construction boots, and he has all he notices right away all the intangibles that he didn't see with Haas.
Mhm.
And that whole thing, and I love how they shot this. Bo didn't take any shots at all,
Nope.
and Stanley still walked away saying like, "Nah, this kid's special."
He's special. Yeah.
When he saw his teammate getting cooked, he fell down. Not only did he help his teammate up,
Mhm.
also said, "I got it,"
I got it. Yeah.
and put that shit on lock,
Mhm.
and dominated the game. That's what you look for. And speaking of Kenny the Jet Smith, right?
Mhm.
He was on TNT talking about a player who currently plays for North Carolina,
Mhm.
Elliot Cadeau. And he was on NBA on TNT, and he was talking about, you can look at something on YouTube. He said, I saw him play in this high school run. He didn't score one basket. And me and all the people I went with left the gym saying he's the best player here.
Mm.
And that's kind of the same traits that you see with Bo right away. And this is
Okay.
really like this is really like sports nerd shit. Like, so
Yeah.
if you're just a casual viewer, it probably wouldn't move you one way or another, but it was just good to see that. And that Bo got it. And he had that dog in him.
For sure.
Player from the other team was talking that shit. Play me one-on-one then. Like barking, I'm talking that shit right back to you. There's no timid. I'm not backing down. Like none
Mhm.
of that. I do this. I do this for real. With
For
the
sure.
boots on. Um, he put the money up, and I like that energy. I like when people ain't scared.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? Like, let's get
That
this shit
dog.
popping. And Stanley, of course, had had that dog in him. Stanley, of course, had to find out who he was. And he
Yeah.
follows him through the streets, gets on the bus. He's
Crazy.
using the translator app. Insane, especially in a foreign country. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do that shit a couple neighborhoods over.
That
He's
part.
doing that in a
That
whole
part.
another country. I love the scene when he's doing the translator and that sounded super freaky.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of you. Like, you're a lot of man and all that stuff he was saying. And dude, like, nah, this is over. And
He almost fucked around and found out.
yeah, he almost fucked around and found out, man. But what I do like was shout out to Dirk Nowitzki.
Mhm.
This is what separates you, and this is what people say. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Here I am. Every international player knows Dirk Nowitzki.
Mhm.
To be able to have him on FaceTime, and I love how Dirk, because that's some shit I would do. Like, who
Yeah.
is this? How you get this number? I don't know you. I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm just fucking with you to give that trust. Like, I'm actually somebody. Listen, you must be good if Stan is calling me about you. Like,
Yeah.
Stan, like, you in good hands with him. Trust me. He a good legit dude. I just got a Hall of Famer on FaceTime for you. Like, you gotta understand and believe that I'm not some slouch up here just trying to,
Yeah. Hustle
you know,
you.
yeah, hustle you. Exactly, man. And shout out to Dirk for
Yeah.
having Dirk got a black wife.
Yes, he does.
One of the most iconic photos in NBA history to me. To me, it's my nigga Dirk walking through the pregame tunnel with this to-go plate with the aluminum foil on top. Did nothing scream black family like that to-go plate.
That's it.
That was
That's
one of my favorite pictures. I'm like, oh, he ain't just married a black wife. Like he in the culture. Like, he
he's
really,
he's immersed.
yeah, he knows what's going on. Like he's not he's not being a vulture or nothing like that. But
Shout out to
he's definitely
Paige.
appreciating it. Absolutely, man. Shout out to Dirk. Um, if we move along in the film,
Yeah.
the open run.
Hmm.
All right, so we have that first open run, and Stan is desperate,
Hmm.
right? So they get to the airport because Stan's like, I'm gonna bring him over. And of course, the team's not clearing it.
Yeah.
Stanley has such a strong belief in him that he's gonna do it anyway. With the mindset of, I'll get you over here, but I know you're this good. So when they see you, the Sixers will go ahead and pick up the tab,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't tell Vic about the customs incident. He calls the team lawyer, which you
Hmm.
had to know that's going, bruh, the
It's gonna
team
be
lawyer, it's
yeah,
the owner of the team. You getting fired.
that part.
It's one of those situations.
That
Like
part.
he's going to get fired if I don't tell the owner that I had to go make a call because I'm not doing this for free.
Yeah.
I know Stanley said, I'll take care of it and square it away with you, but bro, that's protocols, chain of command. You
Right.
just can't play with certain things like that.
And do
Um,
you really have it like that to cover?
no.
Because that was the thing. It was unclear to me. You're in Philly. He's staying probably in city center, so downtown. Like you ain't got him on the outskirts. He ain't at the residence in Philly airport. Like you got
Yeah,
him,
straight up.
and y'all covering, y'all paying for this. And Tina, she kind of made mention of like them not having a whole lot of disposable income, but that was surprising to me because also you've been working for the team for quite a bit of time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no shade to lesser positions, but like a scout is kind of an important job, right?
It is an important job. It's needed.
So I would think that he wouldn't have been in that like Toyota. I would think that you would have a little something more. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you even went out on such a ledge, while to your point earlier, your daughter is getting ready for college and you spending this kind of bread on what ain't
Yeah,
necessarily a sure thing. I
that's
don't
rough.
know, man.
That's
I
a
don't
hard sell to the.
know.
That's a hard sell to the missus.
For sure. A black
It's a
wife?
hard. Yeah, that's a hard sell to the missus. Shout out to her for being so supportive throughout the
Yeah,
film
for
and
sure.
his dreams. But also, that's a hard sell, man. That's a lot to ask of. And like you said, I love the point that you made. You're not at the Holiday Inn. You
Mhm,
know, I forget. I don't know Philly's airport's name, but you're not out there. Like you downtown on the main street. Ain't no
mhm.
hotel parking, valet only.
That's it.
Like, when you in one of those hotels, it's costing some bread.
Yeah.
Obviously, Stanley has to put on the show and put on like, all right, the Sixers are putting you up.
Mhm.
Um, and he really thought that he had it. And we
Yeah.
get to this open run. He knows Leon, played by Kenny the Jet Smith,
Mhm.
former college teammate, gets him in, but also he sees Vic.
Yeah.
And Vic is like, oh, yeah, I told him. And I love this is the only thing that I thought was clever from Vic. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah. I met you I heard about him at the airport, right? Our team lawyer mentioned, just kind of letting you know, like, bro, I know everything.
I know who
Stop
you
playing.
are, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't a good look for Stanley. But of course, the big thing about this scene, we get to meet Kermit, played by
Yes.
Anthony Edwards.
So
And he's a short. Go ahead.
go out on my first rewatch of this. First, it's not even the rewatch. On the first initial watch, I had no idea who that nigga was. Y'all know I watch basketball during the playoffs and randomly
And
been in.
that would have been his rookie year. So it would make sense.
So when we came back, fast forward to rewatch, I said, "Is that little Anthony Edwards?"
Mm-hmm. It's Ant-Man.
And it's crazy because now, obviously, back then I had no idea who that nigga was. So now in today's game and what we see, I was like, oh, was he playing himself low key? Like,
Mm-hmm. 100%.
oh, you wasn't acting. This is who you are.
100%.
What you do. I like that. I like that about you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, that's perfect, Rachel, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. I didn't want I alluded to it and I was gonna save it for this spot. When I
Yeah.
said he did a good job acting, I was gonna say he really was just being himself.
Yeah. They said
Because
go
even
crazy.
yeah, and if you don't like, so if you just want to be entertained by somebody just naturally being themselves, just look up Anthony Edwards interviews. And there's
Right.
just he's just like he just had one the other day, just this week. Um,
Mhm.
Kevin Durant, who they beat in the first round, the Suns, that's Anthony Edwards' favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
Looks up to him and all that. And the reporter asked him about Jamal Murray and like, hey, is there the same type of thing? He said, huh? Like, hell nah. Like, he 4 years older than me. Like, I'm about to be 23. Like, he only what, 27? Like, he like 36. He's like, I don't know what you're trying to start, but hell nah. And there was a moment when he dunked on John Collins, like one of the craziest dunks I've ever seen in my life.
Mhm.
And he's watching the replay after the game on the court still being interviewed.
Mhm.
Mid-interview, he's watching, say, hell yeah, little ass nigga. Like big KG energy.
Yeah.
Like just kind of when
Yeah.
you're so passionate about what you do, you're just in that moment. You're not
Mm.
even thinking, I don't care. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And I
Yeah.
just love that about Anthony Edwards. But to your point, Rachel, the mental games, the talking shit, all of that. Like just, hey man, where you from? Oh,
Yeah.
what's your name? Bo? I like that. Bo, strong like a bull. Like, where you from? Spain? All of a sudden, just switch it. That shit
Yeah.
sound whack. That shit sounds whack. Y'all like bullfights over there, right? Well, you the bull. I'm the motherfucker with the cape running around, running your big ass in circles.
Crazy.
And just
And he
playing,
was.
listen, everything is 80% mental to me.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to sports, it's always mental. Like everybody, you get to a certain point where everybody, if you watch the worst player in the NBA and they go to a regular ass gym, they'll dominate.
Yeah.
So there's a certain point where the talent level is only. Shout out to Brian Scalabrine. He had one of the best quotes ever because people were on Twitter were calling him out saying they can beat him one on one. He
Mhm.
met up with some people, whooped their ass 11-0.
Yeah.
And he told the last person, he said, listen, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's how different this is. There's only 400 of these jobs in the world. Like,
Mhm.
bruh, stop playing with me.
Please.
And him getting in his head right away and letting him know, like, yo, bro, this is what it is. Yeah, you can play, but the mental aspect is something that we saw Bo needed really to work on. And I said it earlier. I just love the way these basketball scenes are shot throughout the film.
Mhm.
The good back and forth between Bo and Kermit. You see their perspective, their vantage points, and Kermit calling out. Listen, trash talk 101. I think I've said this before. I don't know if it was on this podcast or another, but there aren't worse things than all right. So if you are open and somebody yells, "Oh hell no!" Let him shoot. Disrespectful. Somebody busting your ass and somebody got to tell you to come switch.
Mhm.
Disrespectful. And also somebody calling out their moves, telling them this is exactly what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Hit you with the in between. I'm about to hit you with the step back to the left, drain it in your face, and doing that shit. That's
Mhm.
demoralizing. And the fact that Kermit was just in here to busting his ass was dope. And obviously that's a bad look for Stan because Stan brought him in. He's been vouching for him.
Yeah.
Vic is taking so much pleasure in this. And, he motivates Go to keep going, man. It's a mindset. I do love the how he picked it up. It's like, you
Yeah.
know what? Like, don't worry about that. That's something to learn from. We can go from there.
I was surprised, and you coach.
Mm-hmm.
For all that we saw Bo come from, he's hooping in work boots, essentially
Crazy.
crazy as fuck, essentially a single father, taking care of his mom and daughter. He was a bit softer than I guess I would anticipate him to be, because you would think, being this Spanish rose that grew from the concrete, that he would be a bit tougher. You're known for fighting and being a hothead. I'm surprised, and I guess he's still young, 20, early 20s,
Yeah, 22.
22. For me, it was like, damn, you letting this little shit bother you like that at this with these stakes. But I guess despite his skill set, if he hadn't competed at a high level because he's had to work and because he did not get that sector of training.
Yeah.
And I know that we're moving, but I think probably one of my favorite things about the movie is watching Stan sort of nurture him and coach, because we know too that that is actually what his passion was doing, was coaching. So seeing him nurture that and sort of build him was really kind of endearing to me. But it was
Hmm.
shocking that with all this on the line, you let this little Kermit ass nigga get in your head so quick and throw you completely off.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Mhm.
So I attribute that to a couple of things.
Ner
One, nerves for sure.
Mhm,
Like if we go back and think about Stanley meeting with his mom and Lucia and them in the living room, it's just kind
mhm.
of talking about like he'll call off work, like he coming with you.
Yeah.
From that point, when your whole world is picked up like that, it's almost like I got to make this work.
Mhm,
That extra pressure comes on. I also attribute this. The second thing is, I think Bo was just a naturally nice person, like a
mhm.
good spirited, good hearted person.
Yeah.
Like he's not a punk, but I think he's more reactionary than initiating.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you find somebody who initiates it, and
Mhm,
I listen, I'm the same way. Like there's nothing, as cool and laid back as I am. I've been in gyms or walked in gyms where I'm about to play and a nigga I don't even know is already starting some shit. I remember one time because when I hoop, I put on my Apple Watch, right?
mhm.
I'm counting these calories, man. Shit,
Period. Yeah.
yeah, we doing this work. And I remember one time right before we was about to play, and I'm adjusting my watch. He was like, "What you doing? Looking at your watch? What time you got to be home?" And like just started talking shit. And it's just one of those things where it's like I don't talk shit, but don't get me started either because
Don't
I
get me
can
started.
and I
Yeah.
will with the best of them. And don't let me bust your ass because now you really ain't gonna hear about it. It's
I
on
know
some.
you ain't talking.
I'm gonna go too far. Exactly, exactly. I know you ain't talking.
Yeah.
The third point I'll make. Remember when Cat Williams said, talking about the Chrysler 300, it does look like a Phantom until the Phantom pulls up.
Yeah,
Like it's easy to be a big dog until you in a room full of big dogs.
for sure. For
Now
sure.
we're gonna see who the biggest dog out here. So
Yeah.
all of those things mixed in, I think, combined with it, and that's your first experience. But it's a learning tool as well. Like he doesn't know, like Bo doesn't even know how he reacts to situations like that because he the man in Spain.
Yeah.
Like you saw what he did to other dude that was busting his ass on that court, his teammates' ass. Like, bro, you step up to me then.
Yeah.
I'm nice with this, but the film did a great job of it not being just some regular person. Like I
Mhm.
like that we knew that Kermit was a top 2 pick,
Yeah.
surefire. Like
Yeah.
like we know what at the worst he's going to be an all-star. Like
Mhm.
they build it up to know this isn't just some scrub in here busting Bo ass. This is the top of the top.
Yeah.
And it's that good marker of if this is where I want to be,
Then
then
this
I know what I need to do. Like I
Yeah,
know how I need to work. I know how I need to react. I can't
for
let shit
sure.
like that get in my head.
For
So
sure.
all of that, man. But that was a hell of an observation.
Yeah.
Um,
That was my
I'm
scene.
jumping. Great scene. That's a great scene. I'm gonna jump ahead some. So I'm gonna jump ahead some to us. It's really a small scene, but it's after the shit hits the fan and we find out about Bo's assault and that hits the news, and
Mhm.
obviously Bo gets upset. But there's a moment when Stan is trying to get Bo a trial. He's on the phone in his house.
Mhm.
His daughter is looking from the stairwell, and just that desperation in
Yeah.
his voice, calling in overdue favors, like hitting niggas with like I've spoken at your camp
Yeah.
countless time. I ain't never asked you for nothing. I've
Mhm.
never asked for an appearance fee. I
Which is
did this
cool.
off GP.
Mhm.
Like I'm asking this one favor, bro. Like, and that hopefully nobody's really ever been that desperate. But if you have, you know what that feeling's like when you scrambling and you really calling in every single favor that you have.
For
Because
sure.
because I knowingly lied to this kid.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He had to find out through an interview at my dinner table that the
Yeah.
Sixers ain't. We did not sanction this. Excuse me, Stanley brought him on his own.
Yeah.
So I'd have picked up my life, quit my job. I'm left my daughter.
Mhm.
So I think there's that desperation. I got to make this right, and just like yo, I'm tired of being a motherfucker that show up for everybody.
And
and
nobody
nobody show up for me.
for sure. For sure.
That's relatable throughout life. Shout out to that technical error there if you're watching on YouTube. But that's relatable through life. It doesn't have to be sports. Like there's plenty of people, I'm sure, that will, help anybody out if they can. But when it's their turn and you need it, people don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to show up that same way. So I thought that was a great thing, or just the beauty and the desperation. And his daughter being more modernized, finding a solution. Like she's for film school. Like I already made videos. Like I can use my skills to make a YouTube video.
Yep.
Which leads to the park scene and going right to the park.
Hold
Shout
on.
out to women.
Can I back us a little?
Yeah.
That's because, and you touched on it, that dinner scene, the dinner scene at the house was the only other scene that I actually wrote down.
Mhm.
Only for, and I talked about it too, we see that Stan has really tried to cultivate this relationship. This is after Tina is now making the meals because this nigga is spending $11. And I think not just because both thought that the Sixers were covering all of this, but I think that that is a foreign concept view of America anyway. Like I can come over here, eat this little shit, they wasteful anyways. You know what I'm saying? I can come all this money, and that narrative of America really just kind of being this land of milk and honey, dare I say, side eye. But that is the expectation. But I just liked that we saw such a sweet moment, such a sweet instance go left with finding out that this nigga been lying to you the whole time.
Yeah.
That's all. Go ahead.
No, I love that you brought that up, and that's not a small lie, man. That's a big lie.
That's a big lie.
It's a big lie. Like my goodness, man. Like you didn't even have to. I know you wanted to get me over here, but you could have sold it another way.
That part.
But yeah, man. We like I said, shout out to women always holding us down, always looking out, because they at the table, and his daughter's explaining the deal. Like, remember that doctor friend? Like, well, maybe you can get him. He's like, I'm not calling him for that. And T took that phone ASAP. I will.
Period.
I'll call him right now because it's at the point where, he's eating $9 Pringles. I love her line when she said, like, does he know he can watch porn for free on his phone?
That part.
What I mean? Like, if we're footing this bill, and at this point they know they're footing it, like, I'm going to make him some dinner.
Yeah.
He eat the whole thing. So you don't got to take a bite out of one cheesesteak. Yeah. Now I love how you said that, Rachel, because that is a great observation of this is what y'all do over here anyway. Like y'all so wasteful, and the portions, if you've ever been out of the country and you see portions out of the country versus portions in America,
you're like, what the fuck?
Exactly. So that's a great point. But T called Dr. J, and we have the BOA challenge.
Yeah.
And it becomes a thing. And we know now, obviously this is 2022, but if you can go viral, the opportunities can be endless.
Good as gold.
Shit, Risa Tisa got on the Netflix red carpet.
Crazy.
As an interviewer or something like that, because she made a 50-part TikTok series. So it really doesn't take much, and we can't ignore the fact that Bo is good.
Yes.
And those are crazy. That's a crazy. The odds are in his favor. What I mean by that is, I think it was $50 if you put a shot on the rim, $100 if you can make it, $1,000 if you beat him one-on-one. Right. And you saw how the park celebrated when one dude just hit the rim.
Yeah.
And got his 50. Like that's how much he was dominating it. And he took over the internet. And I don't know if there's anything individually. I was gonna say maybe spades, Uno, dominoes, but something you can do individually where somebody talking shit, like, bro, I'll bust your ass right now. We can get to the court right now. One-on-ones. Like back in our day, like back in the day, we used to keep the hoop shorts under the jeans. Ready. We looked crazy. We looked crazy out on the block, Rachel. But we would really have hoop shorts under the jeans, ready for it. Basketball in the trunk. We can go to the park right now, bro. You talking shit? One-on-one right now. like that ultra competitive, like just me versus you. There's nothing that like gets people more riled up, especially if you call yourself, we always say it, ball is life. You
For
call
sure.
yourself a hooper. So if that's something like that goes viral and you feel like you can really hoop,
Mm-hmm.
there's part of you that want to be like, especially in Philly. I'm in Philly, I'm pulling up.
Yeah, for
Y'all
sure.
got me fucked up. Hell no. I'm about to about to bust through that to the point as it progresses. You have real NBA players. You see
Mhm.
Seth
But
Curry
yeah.
Seth Curry in one of the scenes. You have Tobias Harris,
Mhm.
um, who's playing him one on one, and really just like getting at the end of the film. He even made the line like, I want him ready for round two,"
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
he's dominating so much that professionals have to come out here and see like, yo, let me see
Who
how
is
good this kid is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I love how they like implemented today's, social media phase and how quickly word travels. You get
Mhm.
the montage of all these people, Allen Iverson, stamping the bow challenge. Like, yo, this is dope. Because that would be some live shit.
That's
They
it.
do it now. There are YouTube like factions or functions um, that will travel city to city and just R5 versus whoever five in the city. Let's go. And they'll film it
Really
and put it on YouTube. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
interesting.
There are like they call them YouTube hoopers. There's a
Mhm.
YouTube channel dedicated to 1v1. It's usually 3 dribbles. So
Mhm.
offensive player gets 3 dribbles. It gets intense. It's fascinating to watch. I love it.
Thing.
They've been to Cincinnati, all types of stuff. Like it's real cool. It's real cool. Um, but yeah, got him viral, and then he goes to the combine.
Mhm.
Said we're gonna get you to the combine, and then that leads to my next scene, which is Bo finding out from the press that he made it to the combine. It's a
Yeah.
short scene, but I only bring this up because I'm on Stanley time.
Mhm.
I'm on Stanley time. I've been grinding. We've been working. I've been
Yeah.
coaching them, waking up super early, 4:10 in the morning. We
Mhm.
running hills. Like y'all try to box us out.
Yeah.
We went viral. We still made it in here. And
Mhm.
as soon as he heard the news and he asked the question, somebody asked Bo, "What team would you want to play for?" Of course, Bo gives the right answer. I'll be happy to play for anybody. Stanley like, nah, fuck that. He
Yeah.
could be playing for the Sixers. But remember, y'all did an interview. My man did an interview, said he ain't want him. He ain't want nothing to do about it. Like,
That part.
and called out the reporter. Like, you didn't even know the whole story. And it's really
You
not
were
about, yeah, and it's really not about the I want to show you or like I told you so. It's the fact that Stanley really like started to grow some love for him
Yeah.
and really saw it. And we learned about Stanley and what happened to him
Mhm.
and the mistakes that cost him not just his hand and career, but his teammates and they
Mm.
got injured. But it's more so about this kid is 22. And
Yeah.
you out here putting out all this shit about him. You didn't even nobody even called him to ask what happened.
Mhm.
Like, stop playing with people's lives like that. Like, he has a whole life in front of him,
Yeah.
and that ain't cool. And sometimes it's as simple as stepping up and just saying that ain't cool. Not everything has to be confrontational, but it's cool to look at somebody like, yo, what you doing
Why?
right now? Yeah, that ain't cool, Bradley. Do your job. Like, have some respect for your profession, is what he told him.
Mhm.
You a journalist, be a journalist. Don't just let this clown get on the internet or get on your show and just start saying whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
So I loved it. He got out the car. He couldn't wait to tell the press, like, nah, man.
Mm.
He had one of my favorite quotes, which we'll talk about when we get to quotes.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to that. And then I guess leading or following that, Stan recognized that despite all this good news and all this shit that we work for really panning out, Bo still is, dare I say, unhappy or at least melancholy, moping about despite everything exciting happening. And so they knew, you know what? Let's get the family out here. And again, a lot of money to be footing on your own bill to fly to fly
Mm-hmm.
his mother and daughter out from Spain. And so we saw that light Bo's world up because that's exactly what you're doing. You've been out here a month and some change essentially without the only family that the only sense of normalcy, and you're alone. And so he needed that. He needed that pick me up. But those
Once
people,
again, Rachel,
yeah,
once again, shout out to women because T saw it ASAP. She's the one that said it.
yeah,
Like, nah, he's never been away from his daughter ever.
hmm
Like, that's what it is. He's not nervous. He's not scared. Like, he's sad.
yeah,
Like, and
that's
think about it. I got probably the best news in my life outside of my daughter being born,
it.
and I can't even celebrate it with her. Like, do you know how excited you have to be to see someone to jump in a pool
Fully clothed.
full? fully clothed. Like that was heartwarming.
Yeah,
And for it to be a surprise, I just thought that was real dope.
for sure. That's it.
I thought that was real
Heartwarming.
dope.
But the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. So that
Facts.
same family that he loved and was so excited to see is also was
Mm-hmm.
also essentially his Achilles heel because this is we see Bo and Kermit meet again, you know. And so now I'm coming with the expectation. I've seen your game. I'm familiar with your game.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I see what you did there.
I, thank you so much. I know what you can do, and so I'm better prepared this time. And I want to show out because my family is here. I can do X, Y, Z. But I let this menace know, you know what I'm saying, a weak spot, and that's all it took. Again, that speaks to the youth and the lack of experience that Bo had because even still, like, yeah, you ain't about to disrespect my family. But again, we work too hard for this.
Yeah.
And
There's
I had shit sometimes is it's bubbling too close to the surface.
there I love that you said that, Rachel, because there is a point where you got to take a couple things on the chin. Whoa.
Mhm.
Um, in order for the greater good to triumph,
Yeah.
right? We ain't here for that. I know you love your family. I know you ain't a punk.
Yeah.
I know if it really came through it and y'all was outside, I know you would handle business. But now is not the time for any
For
of that.
sure. For
This
sure.
is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like I said, there's only 400 of these jobs.
Mhm.
Period. Like, and there's a
Period.
lot better hoopers, and there's a lot of, there's a lot more than 400 hoopers that are good and deserve
Mhm.
to be in there. You got to take advantage and seize the moment. And shout out to Kermit on the minute side of things for looking for those holes and looking for those things that can set them off. How can I get in this person's head?
Yep.
Like
Because
that happens all the time.
despite being number 2 overall, essentially or planned, I still have to stand out because you're still over here from Spain on some fluke shit in the
Hmm.
same place where I who have grinded through the proper channels. We're in the same place. So I've got to do something to make myself stand out or at least to make you look bad or worse than
Yeah.
me. So,
And I think honestly, you said it, Rachel. Kermit is a direct reflection of Anthony Edwards in real life. Because
mhm.
there's a line in this film when Stanley asks, like, what is he doing here? He's a lot to go to number 2. And
Yeah.
Leon says he thinks he should be number 1. And there's just it's just a mentality thing. Like being 2 ain't good enough. Whatever I gotta do, if I gotta go to every single run and bust everybody ass to
I'm gonna
show
do that.
everybody I'm the best, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I can lay back and chill and be like, all right, I'll be a top 2 pick. That's cool. Nah, it
Mhm.
ain't about that. It's about
Yeah,
letting everybody else know I'm the one.
for sure.
And that's just a characteristic. Either you got it or you don't. That's a mentality thing.
Yep. Yep.
And even all right, so even here's a cool story about this film. And this comes in the last scene.
Mhm.
We're not jumping there. I only got like one or two more things to talk about before we get into quotes. But Adam Sandler was saying that it was difficult at times with Anthony Edwards because he's so competitive.
Mhm.
So in the final scene, there's a moment where Bo has to block Kermit's block or
Mm.
dunk, and Anthony Edwards was like, I can't do that. Like my mind, even though I know this is a movie and I know this is acting, like my mind can't.
You
It's
turn
not
it
even
off.
wired. I
Yeah.
can't turn that off. And they had to do it over and over. I don't even know if they used Anthony Edwards in the real shot
Mm.
because he kept doing it. And Wancho, who played Bo, he said like every single time we do the take, he tried to dunk it harder. He said he almost broke my hand from trying to dunk so hard. Like, not
Mhm.
only am I not letting you block me, I'm turning it up now
Yeah.
because I just can't do that. And that's what he kept telling Adam Sandler and the director. Like, I can't. I cannot let him know and like just let him block me.
I
And I
love
just love that. I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a story. Like I said, that's on YouTube as well. You can find that when they were doing their press run. But that I remember watching that, and that told me everything I needed to know about Anthony
For
Edwards.
sure.
Like film, no film, bro. I don't even play like that.
Yeah.
Like if you gonna block me, it's gonna be for real because I'm not letting you do
You have
shit.
to work for it.
You
I
have to
go
work for
with
that.
you. I love
And
that.
like I said, with Wancho even saying like not only that, but he tried to punch it hard. Like he really tried to break the rim. I love that. I love everything about it.
I like that.
But yeah, and one thing, just going back to that combine scene before I get into my final scene is we saw the work that Bo did paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that grind was really working. Those early mornings, it never makes sense when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get to that like mountaintop and you get to that moment, like it's worth it. What are you
Yeah.
laughing at? What's up?
You didn't hear me. I said that hustle.
That hustle, man. I only got nothing to say to that. But also, real quick, Stanley's perspective. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I think that's we're gonna probably say the same thing. I like that Stanley knew to get Bo out of that run, whether the other coach acknowledged it or not. I like that Stanley knew his guy. I know my players. You know what? I know it's about to go left. Let me get him. Just to
Even
shit that they had built.
absolutely. And I alluded to it earlier, but Stanley, when you look at it from his point of view, everything in his career is riding on Bo being successful and being good and showing out at this combine.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't imagine the mentality of I got all my faith and I pushed all my chips in on the table to a 22-year-old who was working construction 2 months ago.
Crazy.
That's a crazy feeling.
Crazy.
So of course I'm gonna make sure he's protected, take him out. When I see you bump coming and say, "Ole, bitch,"
yeah,
I'm on the side telling you to calm it down. Like I've worked with you and I've taught, I've worked with you in practice and I've said things while you shooting like your mother's a whore and seeing you just brick it. I know what fucks with you. I know what messes you up.
Yeah.
So we got to work on that and so you aren't reactionary when these things come because they're gonna come.
For sure.
They're gonna come. Like there's gonna happen. Like everybody's looking for an edge. And the last thing, of course, and shout out to hey, I ain't gonna lie. A nigga blowing a kiss at your daughter is crazy.
Yo, he's lucky he left with his life.
He said, "Man, let her stack up with me. I'll show her how to look up to a real man."
Crazy.
But that's minor, man. That's minor for real. That's light trash. Like it's never been confirmed or denied. The famous rumor, Kevin Garnett telling Carmelo that your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. And Carmelo is Mr. Cool. I don't think there's any more cooler basketball players other than like Dr. J.
Yeah.
Like just a cool ass person. Yeah. I've never seen Carmelo he was ready to tear up the whole Madison Square Garden. I don't know what KG said to that man. After the game, Rachel, after that game, Carmelo's waiting by Boston's bus. Like, nah, bro, you're not leaving this arena.
I heard.
No, bro, we gotta handle this. I don't know what he said to that man.
Where do they stand now? Do you know?
Yes, Carmelo has a podcast now with is it Deezus? Which one's the light skin? Is that Miro?
Miro.
Yeah, so he has a podcast, and then he said that there's no issue. Like they're not friends, but they cleared up what they had that conversation. And sometimes it's like that. It's like, hey, I don't care what happens. This needs to be resolved. And it's not saying that we're gonna be cool. It's not even saying there's beef.
Yeah.
But they had that. It was resolved. He said, they can see each other. There ain't no static because they had that conversation that needed to be had. But you won't be seeing any pictures of KG and Carmelo on the internet anytime soon. Chucking up deuces and smiling. So yeah.
Ain't gonna be on no banana boats.
No banana. No banana boats. But yeah, shout out to Bo holding it down and showing all his intangibles. And of course, the final scene, you get that final run at Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah.
Private school in the Bronx, I believe, in New York. Jim Jones went there but didn't graduate. So shout out to Jim Jones. But the redemption for Stanley, obviously the run is what it is. Bo finally shows up, shows out, cooking everything.
Yeah.
His moment, I think, mentally to know I belong. Like I've known it, but now I've proved it.
For sure.
Like, this one person that's been getting the best of me this whole time, I finally busted his ass. And then you got that redemption for Stanley.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I wish is that we saw. I would have loved to see.
Draft
Um, well, not even that. I would have loved to see Vince get the news that he's out.
night.
His sister's taking over.
Yeah.
Vince made a mess and all of that. Stanley getting the redemption, wanting, we need your help. He's an assistant coach now. Bo wearing number 22
Yeah.
in honor of Stanley. Bo having the tattoo on the side that he said, "All of this is for my dad."
Uh-huh.
Just that oak tree, don't back down. Like obviously, words that Stanley told him. You
Mhm.
just gotta love a happy. Man, I was about to walk right into that.
We love a happy ending.
We love a happy ending. You know what I'm saying? So you like those moments, and like I said,
Sure.
with this type of movement, it worked perfectly. Perfect way to end the movie.
Yeah, they didn't talk about it, and we haven't touched on it, but it reminded me. We talked about what's the sister's name?
So who the sister?
Yeah.
I'm not sure the sister's name. I'll have to
Okay.
look it up.
Sibling dynamics in sports team ownership is tricky.
Shout out to the Bus family.
Shout out to the bus family. That's exactly what I thought about because I wrote shout out to Winning Time. But it just reminded me of that because again, to your point, shout out to women because the sisters have to come in and fix the shit that the brothers have messed up.
Straight up. Her name is Kat in the movie.
Kat and leaving a legacy, maintaining that, upholding that family legacy is hard as hell, and somebody is bound to fuck it up. And so just being a person to have to clean it up. And we see that the sister, she had the relationship with Stan the entire time. So it was very interesting. And again, damn, the brother, he did not, despite Rex being Stan's guy. So she was aligned with the dad, but
Mm-hmm.
to the son, the first son gets the spoils, and so after he fucked it up, we had to come in. But I think that would have been something interesting, and maybe not, obviously not necessarily because the movie doesn't miss it, but I, as a viewer who was interested in family dynamics, and more so that than the actual basketball, I guess, would have liked to see.
Ooh, Rachel,
Yes,
you're pitching a great movie idea. I would watch that movie. I would watch a
yeah,
movie of the power struggle of sports ownership.
for sure. Uh, Succession for athletes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel,
Need somebody. Come on.
please give her EP credit.
Based off the buses we had, Winning Time, HBO. We saw what you did with that, despite it being fantastic. But
Yeah,
that is an amazing concept.
that's an amazing. Somebody give Rachel an EP credit and let's get that off the ground. I will watch that ASAP.
Yeah,
ASAP. Yeah, all right. So that's all I have as far as like the actual scenes.
for sure.
I know you don't have any quotes, right?
I have not one single quote. Never backed
This
out.
is not a quotable movie. There were just certain things that I thought were clever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't walk around saying these, but I just thought they were clever and fit.
Yeah.
Girls, I've known you since kindergarten. None of you says hi. I just thought that was funny because I'm sure that's how it is. Like he dropped his daughter off to that concert or to that movie, whatever it was. And there's a whole like I've known all of y'all girls since you were in kindergarten, and I'm dropping my daughter off. None of y'all say, "Hey, Mr. Sugarman," none of that. I just thought that was funny. We don't eat $9 Pringles. A man must have a code. Obviously, that's a Wire reference. Y'all know how I feel about the Wire. Man must have a code. Your mom's not a whore, by the way. Whores get paid. Your mom gives that fat ass up for free.
He's about to book
Just
his
the I love how they built their relationship over time. Being able to say things, you know how it is when only certain people can say certain things to you, playing or not. Because even sometimes playing, like I don't care if you're playing, like don't play with me like that.
Name one nigga that play like that.
Straight up. Hey man, shout out to Craig. Craig tried to tell that nigga. Adam Sandler. Stanley's describing his daughter. You should see her play checkers. She falls down. The quote when I mentioned it earlier when both found out he made it to the combine.
Yeah.
The press asked Stanley what type of player is he, and Stanley said this guy is if Scottie Pippen and a Wolf had a baby, and Lisa Leslie raised them, and Allen Iverson was a babysitter.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a good quote. And shout out to the Lisa Leslie reference, just women basketball in general, skyrocketing out of here. So shout out to women's basketball. And then lastly is just a life lesson. Shit's gonna go wrong. So what?
Yeah.
It's
For sure.
always a good thing to have in your mind. Things are gonna go bad. So what? How do you bounce back from it? This movie was a testament to how do you bounce back from adversity? How do
Yeah.
you keep going and all of that? So, Rachel,
Yes.
scene stealing.
I am going to go Anthony Edwards.
So, all right.
Can we call him a scene stealer?
So here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've sang Anthony Edwards' praises
Yeah.
throughout, so you know how we feel about him. That was my original answer.
Are you gonna go Kenny the Jet Smith?
I'm going Kenny the Jet Smith
That was
because he
my
actually had to. He had to act.
Yeah, that was
And
my second pick. Okay. We see each
I'm
other.
not saying, yeah, we definitely see each other. And I'm not saying it was, award worthy, but it was very smooth and natural.
For sure.
It didn't feel clunky. You can tell he works on TV.
Yes.
And you can tell he knows basketball. He's been around agents. So when you have a playing career that lasted as long as he had as his did and won some championships, you know these people. So I'm just emulating them.
Shout
And I
out to
just thought it
Leon.
was.
Mhm.
You said shout out to who?
To Leon.
Shout out to Leon for sure.
Yeah.
My only thing, and that gets into things that bother you, and it's very minor. It's a nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't do this in sports. Can't do what I'm about to say.
Oh
But
Lord.
Leon and Stanley are tight. Right?
Yes.
I hated how much how much time Leon spent with Vince. Like
Mm.
even going to dinners. I get you're an agent. You have
Yeah.
multiple clients. Those clients want to play for teams. You probably have clients on that team. And you have to kind of forge these relationships. But man, man, I'm on the other side. Stanley, my man. You treat my man's wrong. Fuck you. You can't do that. Don't get me wrong. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
But I just, it's a very small nitpick. I just hated it every single time. For the most part, at the basketball scenes, every single time we saw Leon, we saw him next to Vince. I'm like, bro, get away from
me. Get away from that nigga.
yeah, man. So it is what it is. But did you have anything that bother you? I know you talked about one earlier.
No, that was really it. No.
Okay.
You're good.
No come see about me moments, no actors from The Wire. The soundtrack, just shout out to them being very intentional with all of the Philadelphia artists that they put in this film.
And even know what we do is wrong.
Classic. Classic. You know how they do those memes where they say you gotta quote this quote every word of this song and you get $1 million or whatever? That might be my choice.
That's
what
it?
we do is my goodness, man.
Okay.
Wouldn't let that happen to me. I don't have anything for that.
I ain't footing that bill. I ain't got that much faith in niggas. Go ahead.
That's a good one, Rachel. That's a good one. That is a good one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can do it neither.
Hey man, that's a lot. Flights to Spain, $9 Pringles, 5 different cheesesteaks,
6 weeks
hotel porn. Hotel porn. Come on now, you running that bill up.
No.
Trivia, not too much. We talked about all of the players that were in here, like whether they be professional, street ball, former players. One thing I do want to shout out is when Bo was still in Spain, he met with the Spanish international team. Those were real players, including his brother. So Juancho Hernan Gomez, his brother Willie, also is a professional. He plays in the NBA or played in the NBA. So there were siblings that played in the NBA at the same time. He was one of the players in that scene, when he's jumping up in his flip-flops and all that stuff. Yeah. And then also the 2020-2021 NBA season, Juancho Hernan Gomez and Anthony Edwards were teammates. They both played for the Timberwolves.
Okay. Oh, that's dope.
So, yeah. Man. So I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, there's not really anything else to discuss. So we get to the end of our episode where we rate the film. So Rachel.
Yes.
The average viewer rates this film 7.3 out of 10. Too high, too low, just right.
That's low. I'm gonna go 7.8.
Mm, I think that's definitely too low.
Maybe 7.7. Go ahead.
I was just about to say I'm 7.7.
Yeah.
7.7. I feel good with 7.7 on this. Enjoyable film. It's one of those where you can go years without watching it, but
Mm-hmm.
once it crosses your mind, you can put it on and just be as
Yeah,
easily entertained. I love films like that. Wasn't overly deep, and of course, Rachel, I love the conversation with you as always.
for
So
sure.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having it. Thanks for just everything you do. Shout out to you. Shout out to We Got Y'all.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of you out there listening or watching. We appreciate you. Once again, thank you for bearing with us. I know we didn't have an episode last week. Life is settling down now. Your boy is getting settled.
Yeah.
So we'll be back on our regular schedule and having more stuff for you. Thank you as always. Probably no Denzel intro this episode. So don't be on my people get mad, Rachel, when they don't hear Denzel.
Really?
And I'm like, y'all want me to put Denzel at the beginning of Pretty Woman? Like,
No.
come on, man. Like,
Culture.
yeah, we're gonna have to find some kind of intro for our non-cultural movies.
Yeah.
Maybe Mo will cook something else up
So
for us. Yeah, I don't know, but either way, appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Don't forget Monday. Follow the We Got Y'all feed. There will be an episode dropping. Other than that, y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace out. Bye,
We
guys.
out of here.